It's time for Fridays with AI, where we ask AI to rewrite Philly sports history. Every Friday, only on This Day in Philly Sports History.
That's right. It's time for Fridays with AI. And today we have a very, very special NFL Draft edition of Fridays with AI. Everybody's happy with what Howie did. I just said he's out here playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. But Howie's not perfect. He does not hit on every single draft pick. And for today's Fridays with AI, we're going to go back to the 2020 draft. And we talked yesterday, obviously, big hit in the second round with Jalen Hurts. But a lot of people seem to forget, because of winning the Super Bowl and because of the play of Jalen Hurts, the first round pick that year was Jalen Reagor. And everybody wanted Justin Jefferson. The Minnesota Vikings war room were laughing at the Eagles, not believing that they passed on Justin Jefferson. Obviously, it worked out for the Eagles. They went on to win the Super Bowl. It was kind of put the wheels in motion for them to trade Carson Wentz and all of those other things. But what would have happened if the Eagles did take Justin Jefferson like we all wanted them to? So I asked AI to create an alternate reality, and man, I went down a ton of rabbit holes with this. There were billboards being built saying "Fire Howie." There were billboards and people. Angelo Cataldi came out of retirement in this one. I didn't go into the details, but I just kept going and going and going, and there was a ton on this. So buckle up for this one. All of our previous Fridays with AI have been very positive for the teams for Philadelphia teams and who we've asked. Buckle up, because as much as we wanted Justin Jefferson, Jalen Reagor may have been the right pick. So in this alternate reality, first round of the draft, the Eagles take Justin Jefferson at 21, and then the Vikings take either Brandon Ayuk or T. Higgins. Now, the key to this draft is they still take Jalen Hurts in the second round with that pick, just as a backup, because if you remember and what was going on, they weren't necessarily sold on Carson. He was starting to get in his head. We heard it come out that he wanted to change the playbook because of Nick Foles winning the Super Bowl with Doug Peterson's other playbook. So they still take Jalen Hurts. All right, so for the 2020 season, Jefferson has an immediate impact. He's a star, wins Rookie of the Year, catches 7 touchdowns for 1,200 yards, instant chemistry with Carson Wentz. Wentz still is Wentz, makes big plays and is able to do some things, but still makes a lot of boneheaded decisions and is sort of borderline a head case there, but looks decent, finishes and plays the entire season with Justin Jefferson. The Eagles do go 6-10 that year. They don't make the playoffs. However, we know what happened that season. They went 3-13 or whatever it was, and Doug Peterson got fired. In this reality, because of the chemistry between Wentz and Jefferson, Doug Peterson stays. And because of the decent season, not great, but decent, there's not really a need for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts does come in and do some of the gadget plays that he did that year, but in the offseason, looking to try to gain some draft capital to kind of fix the defense, Jalen Hurts is traded to the Indianapolis Colts that offseason. So instead of Carson being traded, they trade Jalen Hurts to the Indianapolis Colts. So that brings us to the 2021 season. Eagles go 9-8, not far from the reality they did with Jalen Hurts. They lose in the wild card round, but Justin Jefferson is a bona fide star. Goes for over 1,400 yards, catches 12 touchdowns, and the offense is solid. The Eagles, because of the way everything played out, the Eagles have one of the best offenses in the league. Wentz is still Wentz. He's good. He has great moments, but still has his bad moments. But the defense is really where this team starts falling apart. They're getting older because of all of the focus on offense. There's not as much of work put in on getting the defense better. So going into that 2022 draft, I guess it would be, the Eagles don't have all of the extra picks from, I guess it would have been the 2021 draft, but they don't have all those extra picks from trading Carson Wentz. So obviously, according to this reality, they trade out of their pick. They don't draft Devontae Smith because they trade for extra picks to try to build up the defense. So no Devontae, kind of a ho-hum draft for Howie. But that brings us to the 2022 season, and that's really where we see Carson Wentz for who he is. And all of the pundits and everything, like I said, I went down a rabbit hole, so there was a ton of ESPN hot takes, tweets from Eagles fans, WIP hosts saying, but Carson Wentz is known as the poor man's Kirk Cousins. Good enough to get you to the playoffs, but is he good enough to win you a Super Bowl? Especially with a guy like Justin Jefferson, who instantly by year 3 becomes one of the best receivers in the league. Eagles do make the playoffs that year. Maybe they win a game, maybe not, but they don't get any further. And because of 3 straight years now of not, or I guess it would be 4 straight years of not getting back to the Super Bowl, everybody starts getting a little antsy. Fans are really questioning Howie and what his vision is for this team. And to make matters worse and further complicate it, over in Indianapolis, Jalen Hurts is putting up MVP-type numbers. It's him, it's Lamar Jackson, it's Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes in the AFC. They're the 4 top teams in the AFC. Every year he's an MVP candidate, basically doing whatever needs to be done, kind of like what he does here. But the fact that he's able to hang and beat, and I know that's one of the things people say about Jalen now, oh, you can't beat the AFC. But he's hanging tough with those guys. That just eggs the fans on more. And that's when, before this draft, the 2023 draft, this is when Angelo Cataldi comes out and says Howie Roseman needs to be fired. But let's get to that 2023 season. Wentz takes a huge step back. He's getting booed consistently at the link. Doug Peterson is frustrated because he doesn't listen. And I think all of those things that we've heard behind the scenes come out. And Doug Peterson is not shy about saying, this dude, I'm not happy with him. He can't do it. The Eagles are officially in quarterback purgatory. It's quarterback purgatory. The only thing that's worse than that is being in NBA lottery purgatory when you're a 7, 8, 9, 10 seed, not quite winning the lottery, not quite making a move into the playoffs. So Doug Peterson, because of the frustration, resigns after the 2023 season. The Eagles don't make the playoffs, and in that draft, they take either Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr. So last season, 2024 season, is a rebuild year for the Eagles. Justin Jefferson still puts up numbers. They bring in a veteran to kind of tide it over, but either Nix or Penix ends up starting. And again, has chemistry with Justin Jefferson, but the fans start turning on Howie. And they're pissed that he let Jalen Hurts go after seeing what he's doing in Indianapolis. It's already been to a Super Bowl, perennial MVP candidate, and we decided to choose Carson Wentz. So they're not happy. They're not happy with his draft moves. And due to all of the pushback and blowback from all of this, Howie Roseman gets fired after the 2024 season in this alternate reality. Jeff Lurie says, I've had enough. It's time to move in a different direction. Brings in Adam Peters, who is now the GM at Washington, comes to Philadelphia instead as Howie's replacement. And in this year's draft, the round that just completed yesterday, the Eagles trade up and take Shedeur Sanders with the number 3 pick overall. Now, Shedeur did not get drafted yesterday, but in this alternate reality, Shedeur Sanders is the Eagles guy. They like his playmaking ability. It could be maybe they're trying to emulate what Jalen Hurts is doing in Indianapolis. But I did, and this is where I went down so many rabbit holes, but I did play out the 2025 season. Shedeur Sanders is a success, teaming with Justin Jefferson in Philly, leads the Eagles to the 2025 NFC East title. They go on a championship run just like the Washington Commanders did before losing it in the Super Bowl, but the hopes are high. So in this alternate reality, a lot to unpack there. But the Eagles take Justin Jefferson instead of Jalen Reagor. Jefferson is a bona fide star. The Eagles decide to keep Carson Wentz, and it blows up in their face, costing Howie Roseman the job, leading to them drafting yesterday Shedeur Sanders, who would lead them to an NFC East title and a championship run. It just got too convoluted at that point. I told AI to stop after the 2025 season. But so I think as much as at the time we wanted Justin Jefferson, it's funny how things play out the way they're supposed to play out. Because if the Eagles did draft Justin Jefferson in real life, I don't think they would have been able to make the moves and get to where they are to win the Super Bowl last year.